Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa. I am your host, Kilechku K Godfrey, and you can always call me K. And today we'll be diving into the world of finance, breaking it down into basics and exploring why it matters and why it is very, very important in our everyday life. So whether you're a professional, whether you're taking a fresher course, or whether you're new to the game of money, this is your one-stop place to get financial knowledge, build your business intelligence, and also acumen to make good, sound financial decisions. So before we start, here is a very, very important question to you watching. Whenever you think of the word money, whenever you think of the word finance, whenever the word ego owokudi comes to mind, do you feel stressed out? Do you get worried? Is there something that just feels out of place? Wherever you stand, the truth is finance touches every part of our life, from how you save, how you spend, and even how you plan for the future. You see how mastering your finance can be very important for your life. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going on a commercial break and we'll be back in a minute where we explore the basics of personal finance. Hello, amazing people. My name is Godfrey, Kilechku Godfrey, and you can call me K. I am a banker with over a decade experience with Nigeria's foremost financial institution, a certified financial educator, a young man with an acumen for business and financial intelligence. Let's just say I am the first financial educator you should have met and the last you'll ever need. I am the host of Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa, where we discuss your money, my money, and the government's money. Without further much ado, let's get the show on the road. Hello and welcome back to the show. This is still Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa. And joining us today is someone I would like to call a maverick. She was already in the finance game even before she turned 18. You heard me, 18, one of Nigeria's prestigious banks. And she has done over a decade in the finance world. Ladies and gentlemen, Ayomide Akinshola. Hello, AY. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
So when you first told me that you started at 16, I was like, but then looking at the fact that you were even able to beat the system and get in at 16 with your intelligence alone, I mean, give it up for you. Give it up for you. So, Ayo, I know you've been in the finance game for a very long time. I mean, you've been over a decade. So here's a quick question. When people talk about finance, finance is in different batches, different branches. You have the personal, you have fiscal, you have monetary and all of that, government and everything. When we talk about personal finance, what do we really mean?
Okay, so when we're talking about personal finance, it's basically money management for an individual or a person. Like you said, finance is very wild. We have the corporate, we have the government finance, we have the public finance. But if we're looking at personal finance, it's basically how an individual manages his or her money. So we're looking at, when we talk about money management, we're looking at your earnings, we're looking at savings, we're looking at investments, we're looking at your planning for the future, retirement planning. How exactly do you want to put your money into use to make your life better? Because of course, money is like I said, 80% to 90% of your problems is settled when you have money. So money is like
Money
what keeps, money keeps you going. So if you're looking at the fact that money keeps you going, so how then do you manage this money to ensure that you give yourself a better life? So that's what personal finance encompasses.
Okay. So the basic idea of being very important, it's looking at the fact that we have to save. We have to spend, but spend in a way that it doesn't hit us back. And then we have to invest, more like send the money on errands to get more at the end of the day. So going forward, what are the basic concepts of personal finance that everyone, even the woman in the street, should actually understand?
Okay, yes. Basic concepts, there are a lot of concepts, but like the easiest one that everybody, even the easiest concept that everybody can understand is, we'll talk about budgeting.
Okay.
When people hear budgeting, they seem to think it's a big grammar, but budgeting is simply just telling your money where to go. Everybody keeps wondering, I have money today, and then tomorrow you're wondering where did the money go to. I know you hear people say money has wings, money flies. The truth is, without budgeting, your money will keep flying.
True.
So budgeting is like basically saying, this is where I want my money to go part time. So you have money, you earn money, you get money as gifts, and then you sit down to prioritize your expenses. That's like what budgeting entails. You prioritize your expenses, you know what you want to spend on, because sometimes you think you can afford something. You know, someone who is earning, say, £1,000,000 per month might actually think he or she can afford to make a purchase of 150,000 naira. I mean, it's just 150,000. But when you do a budget and then you prioritize your needs, you prioritize your expenses, in the long run, you might realize you really cannot afford to splurge 150,000 on that particular purchase. So yeah, so that's the essence of budgeting. It keeps you in check.
Keeps you in check.
And another basic concept is savings. It's a very common word. We tell people save, save, save. And then their response is there's not enough to save. But the truth is, money is never enough.
Money is never enough.
No matter how much you earn, no matter how much you make, money is never enough. Even the rich, the billionaires, they're still looking for more money. So the idea of saving is no matter how small, you don't have to break your back to save. You don't have to starve to save. You know, there's this analogy I use a lot. Imagine saving 1,000 naira every day for a year. That's 365. That's like free 365,000 naira at the end of the year.
You're not talking about interest on it too.
Yeah, imagine you put it in an account that is paying interest. So, or just even imagine you're putting the money under your pillow. Aside inflation, aside from all of those things, you still have like money for dirty December. Without having to, you don't have to push, you don't have to leak through your savings, you don't have to borrow, you don't have to take loans to enjoy your holidays. That's like free money for you. So that's the thing about savings. A little drop. A little drop. Yes. So no matter how little, even if you're earning 5,000 naira, I tell people you can't be earning 50,000 and say you want to save 30,000 naira. It doesn't work that way. So even if it is 5,000 naira you want to save, it works. Even if it is 2,000 naira, it works. The most important thing is you're setting something aside. Now, there's this saying that the money you save now is probably going to come and save you in the future. So yes, even as little as it can be, just ensure you're setting something aside to, for the future, and ensure you have a purpose for which you are saving. The purpose for which you are saving is one thing that I got to learn as a young adult. I used to save a lot when I was younger, but I will save, I will starve, and then in a day I will splurge all my savings, just see something. So it comes to say that if you don't have a purpose for which you are saving for, you end up splurging the money, and then it's just like almost the same thing as not saving.
It's like a merry-go-round.
So if you're saving, have a reason for which you're saving, have a purpose for which you're saving. So I think another basic concept is investing, which it has been bastardized a lot. I see a lot of investment schemes everywhere, and the simplest analogy I can use to explain investments, like I do when I'm talking to children, is investment is like planting a tree or putting a seed into the ground, and then you watch it grow, you nurture it, you monitor it, you water it until it grows into a full tree where you can now harvest from. So if an investment scheme does not entail you putting in the work, putting in the time, then you need to be wary. Investment is not
get rich quick scheme.
Yeah, it's not. You don't put your money in something and expect a return.
A return immediately.
No. You have to monitor. You have to watch it. So when people come to me and they want to invest, I'm like, okay, so what interests you? Because what do you want to invest in? Are you investing in the stock market because every other person is investing? What do you even understand about the stock market? So the thing about investing is, if you don't understand it, then don't put your money. I tell people, it's your money, it's your hard-earned money. So why are you in a hurry to give it away? Why are you in a hurry to just give it to somebody? Ensure that you know exactly what you're putting your money into. If you don't understand how the real estate works, then I don't think you should put your money in the real estate. If you don't understand how the stock market works, why don't you take out time
to learn.
study the stock market, study how it works, then you can now put your money in it. So that's the thing about investing. As an individual, if someone comes to you with an investment scheme, ask as many questions as
you
possible.
can.
I tell them, it's your money. You have every right to ask a million questions. So ask them, so what am I putting my money into? So what exactly are you doing? Agriculture, you want to invest in agriculture. So how does it work? What happens when a flood comes and wipes away the whole farm? Do I get my money back, or is there like a form of insurance or something? So what happens if the corns refuse to grow?
What cannot refuse to grow now?
What happens if goats invade the farm? And just
true that.
ask as many questions as possible. You want to know how they are making plans to hedge your investment.
Against risk.
You don't want to lose your money.
True.
We are in a situation where right now, if I lose 5,000 naira, as much as it seems like it's just 5,000 naira, I'll be pained because
every kobo counts.
Every kobo counts, exactly. So if you're looking at investments, ensure that you're asking the right questions. You are doing your own research. Don't allow anybody bamboozle you. The thing is, people can be sweet with their words, but don't get excited. Don't invest because the investment excites you. Invest because you see a future with it. So it's like watching and nurturing a tree to grow. Yeah. So what other concepts do I want to?
We've talked about budgeting. We've talked about saving. We've talked about investing. Let's talk about expenses.
Yeah, expenses. I see a lot of people talk about cut down your expenses. Don't spend.
There's this one thing. Cut your coat according to your size. If I keep cutting the material, which thing will remain?
Okay, so the thing is, I believe in spending.
Yeah.
I just believe you know what you're spending on. Sometimes, the thing about delayed gratification is funny because it has cost some of us,
a life.
I wanted to travel to, say, London.
Okay.
When flight ticket was still about, say, 700, 800,000, and I was delaying gratification. So now I don't want to delay gratification. I want to go. You know how much flight ticket is now.
And you don't know how much it's going to be tomorrow.
So sometimes when people say cut down your expenses, I feel like why not focus on earning more rather than cutting and cutting. How much can you even cut?
Like I said something earlier, cut your coat according to your size. If you cut your coat according to your material, what's going to be left?
The truth is, if a lot of people are already eating 2 square meals, is it until we start eating Mondays, Wednesdays, Friday, skipping Tuesday, Thursday? So why not just focus on earning more rather than cutting down? Yeah, of course, there are some unnecessary expenses you have to cut down on. There are some, you look at your priorities. That's where budgeting comes in. Why, for me, before I do a budget, I list out everything I know that I spend money on. And it includes some, I can call them frivolities.
Okay.
Okay, so what are the things that I know that if I see them, I really, really do like it and I cannot take my eyes off. Okay, so one of them is frames, glasses. As much as I need glasses to see, I also like to wear beautiful frames. So most times when I'm doing my budget, like once in every 3 months, I try to include buying a new frame because I know whether I include it or not, I will still end up buying it. So why not just include it, fix it in the budget and make it. So that's the thing about expenses. As much as you want to cut down on unnecessary expenses, you also need to focus more on earning more rather than cutting and cutting and cutting. How much more can you cut? So yes, so I think you focus on earning more rather than on cutting down on your expenses.
All right. So AY, we've talked about budgeting. We've talked about saving. We've talked about investing. We've talked about expenses. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we want to go on a commercial break. When we are back, we're going to ask the next question that is going to help you understand how you can start your financial journey. Don't go away and stay tuned. This is still Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa.
In a world where challenges persist, we seek solutions for a sustainable tomorrow. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) guides our path towards climate action to social justice as we build resilient communities. From embracing circular economies to reducing carbon footprint to promoting eco-innovation to empowering marginalized communities and ensuring inclusive governance and human rights. Through integrated approaches, we are fostering transformative change. I am Ifi Onyekwere. Join me on the Development Report as we explore the intersection of sustainability on Universal Television Africa towards sustainable development.
Hello, Money viewers. Welcome back to the show. This is still Money Matters with K on Universal TV Africa, and I still have with me the amazing, the maverick, Ayomide Akinshola. So, Ayomide, going back to the session, let's look at this very important question I always have in mind. How can someone get started on their financial education journey? You know, the entire thing is to build your financial power and acumen. How can someone get started on that area?
Okay, yes, to get started on your financial journey, I think the first thing you need to do is more like a self-assessment.
Okay.
You know, don't jump into it. Don't nose dive into financial education. You know, you can get overwhelmed, especially now that information is everywhere.
It's everywhere.
You log in on Instagram, there's somebody with a microphone talking about financial education. You go on Twitter, there's someone talking about it. You go on Facebook, you go. So there's a lot of information and it can get overwhelming. So I think the first thing you need to do is a self-assessment. Why don't you do a current assessment of yourself? Where exactly do you stand? I start with, okay, so imagine someone comes to me, I'm like, oh, I want to take my finance serious this year. I'm like, okay, so what exactly? I want to start investing. I want to start doing this. I'm like, okay, so can we start with
how much do you earn?
Exactly. What is your current earning? You cannot be earning, no offense, but you cannot be earning 70,000 naira and you want to go into the real estate. I mean, yes, there's real estate trust funds, yes, that you can do. But you cannot, it's good to dream high, it's good to aim high, it's good to dream, it's good to, you know. But then you need to also be very realistic because money does not, you can't imagine, money does not, it doesn't happen with imagination. Yeah, so you do a current assessment. How much are you currently earning? And then how much can you afford to save? Do you have previous savings or do you just want to start? Then are you currently in debt? I mean, that's one thing that drags a lot of people. Debt can be, you know, it can be a two-way thing. It can either be good or bad, but it can also be a very heavy burden for you as a person. So you cannot be, you are in a debt of say 500,000, you're earning 70,000, and you want to go straight into investment. No, we need to settle something first, and then you don't have any savings, you want to go into investing. I see people talk about the fact that no, don't save money because the value of money, inflation,
the valuation of the currency.
Okay, so where do you want to get the money to invest? Because I'm not going to give you money to invest, and borrowing to invest is like the wrongest choice.
And it's
ever.
not manna, it won't fall from heaven.
Exactly. I mean, even if you have, except maybe you are lucky and you have rich parents that, you know, probably your inheritance, and right now even inheritance
to joke with your inheritance.
So yeah, so you need to understand where you stand, your debts, your current debts, your earnings, do you have previous savings or do you just want to start? Then after all of this self-evaluation, then you can now begin to identify where or how you want to start. So now I want to start my financial education journey. First of all, you need to learn. Like I said, do not nose dive into it. You need to understand basic concepts. You need to understand how it works. The finance can look simple, but at the same time, it's very interwoven. Because somebody will ask me why the war between Ukraine and Russia is
affecting
affecting us.
Nigeria's
I mean,
economy.
what's our business? And I'm like, you don't understand global markets. So
True.
you need to educate yourself properly. And educating yourself properly is, you have to be very careful. So rather than just reading through random posts online, rather than just, scrolling through Instagram trying to learn, why not just pick a few people? Pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people you want to listen to. If it's a finance podcast, if it's a video, if it's a TV show like this, why just pick 1, 2, 3 that you want to listen to and focus on it, because you don't want information overload. Somebody is telling you what my approach to investing might not be the same approach you have to invest in. And if somebody is listening to the two of us, he or she might get confused. So pick one person that aligns with your thought pattern. Then you also need to look at your age. If you're going into your financial education journey, if you are already in your, say, 50s, 60s,
you should be planning retirement.
You really do not have any business understanding what crypto is. Because crypto is a very high risk investment. It would only, as much as the earnings are high, it also comes with BP.
Yes.
It comes with hypertension. It raises your blood pressure. So, and even the young ones, we are still, it takes stamina. So if you're in your 50s, you're in your 60s, you really do not have business. In fact, if you're going into the stock market, you are putting more like, say, 20-30% of your money in stock, because really at that point what you should be focusing on is your retirement plan. So if you're in your early 20s, you're in your 30s ahead, then you know what you want to focus on. If you want to learn the finance space, you can now focus on other things. You can focus on the different kinds of investments. At that point, you can diversify. You can put your money in crypto. You can put your money in stock. You can put your money in bonds, mutual funds. Mutual fund is like one of my favorite investments. It's like the safest, one of the safest investments. You just put your money there and then
just be getting your alerts
every month. Like it's just easy. So that's the thing. So you know exactly your age, then your risk appetite. Are you the kind of person who has tolerance for high risk, or you just want to live life, easy? For someone like me now, well, I used to like to take a lot of risk. Although, I'm piping down now. But then, I mean, if the risk is high and the earnings is high, there's this, okay, let me just, sometimes it looks like gambling. Yeah, but as a young person, you need to understand your risk tolerance. If you are the type that will faint if your Bitcoin or your cryptocurrency dips, then you have no business there.
In the first place.
There are some people that will not shake. If anything happens, they will not shake. But there's some people that slight mistake, they are down. And you have to also watch your health and all of those things. So you can take courses, not really because you're looking for a job, but because you just want to have an idea. So you can take simple free courses on financial management, on financial analysis. You just want to have an idea, so that when your broker comes to you and is speaking some grammars, you are not lost. You are not lost, because it's easy for me to scam you when you don't understand.
True.
What I mean, that was how we scammed our parents back then. With big unfortunately I had literate parents, so it was very difficult to scam them. They had higher educational degrees than I did. So, but then when somebody is ignorant, it's very easy for you. So why not just have an understanding? You don't need to take these courses because you want to start your own financial class, or you want to also be the next K, but because you just want to have an idea of what it was. So you take these courses, listen to podcasts, and then I think with that you can start. And financial education is not a sprint race. It's not something that you just learn and then that's it. You keep relearning. I mean, there are a lot of things the economy keeps changing. What worked last 2 years is not what is working. Even the CBN, the government, they keep changing. When somebody's telling me why is this, I'm like, it's economics. When you try a policy, it doesn't work. You try another one. That's how economics works. The CBN they don't have automatic answers to your problems. They will try this. If it doesn't work, they're like, okay, they have other policies in which they can try. They try another, okay, so let's increase interest rates. Okay,
Exactly.
let's increase it further. Let's see, okay, so let's bring it down again. So that's how it works. So you need to keep learning. That's the thing about your financial education journey. It's not a one-time thing.
Evolving.
You keep learning, you keep reading books. Yeah, you can read books. There are a lot of simple, easy books that you can read that would give you an understanding to how investment works, how the personal finance works. There are a lot of podcasts, but like I said, pick one or two. Don't listen to everything.
Everybody.
Don't get overwhelmed. So I think with that, you'll be on the right track.
All right. So we're winding down to the show, ladies and gentlemen. And AY, before we leave, can you give us 3 do's and 3 don'ts of personal finance?
Okay, for do's, I think one of my favorite do's is no is not a crime. Learn to say no.
It's okay to say no.
I mean, that saying no seems like a wicked thing, but say no.
Say no.
Like, Ayo, can you borrow me money? No, I can't. Like, for me, it's even sweet to say. It's sweeter to say than yes. Because a lot of people cannot say no, and they keep drowning in unnecessary debt, in unnecessary expenses, no matter who the person is.
Okay.
Tell them no. I mean, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, if you are feeling bad, add I'm sorry, but no.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, no. I mean, it only helps you because, like I tell people, it's my money. I decide where it goes. I decide how I spend it. You cannot blackmail me emotionally to give you my money. Because when I was working, you were not there.
You were not there.
When I was earning this money, I did not earn the money with emotions. Emotions don't pay the bills.
True.
So if emotions cannot pay bills, why do I want to be? So yes, and another do is I can't afford it doesn't necessarily mean you're poor.
You're poor or you're broke.
Just tell them I cannot. Okay, so if you cannot say no, why not just tell them, okay, currently I cannot afford it. I can't afford it. I have the fact that you know that I have £1 million in my account, and you want me to make a purchase, or you want me to give you 5,000 naira, and I say I cannot afford it. It's fine. Just tell them I'm sorry, I cannot afford it. And I think for my don'ts is please don't borrow for consumption.
True.
No matter how tempting it can be, don't borrow to consume. It's hard because people will say you don't understand the economy of this country. I know things are a bit hard, but if you are going to borrow, ensure that you are borrowing to start a business, which I don't necessarily encourage, but in case you don't have a choice. But I think my don't is don't borrow for consumption. Don't borrow to eat. Yeah, borrow for something that can make earnings back. Don't borrow to it. And what other don'ts do I have? Okay, yeah, do not invest in what you don't know. I said that earlier and I'm going to say it again. No matter how juicy, even if every other person is making money from it, if every other person is making money from it, don't get tempted to put your money in it.
All right.
So yes.
All right, AY, thank you for those amazing nuggets and for those insightful moments. There's honestly a whole lot we can do, and I hope that the audience and our viewers have learnt a whole lot to broaden the scope of their financial bank. So stay with us, same place, same time next week on Universal TV Africa. This is still Money Matters with K. I am your humble host, Kelechiku K. Godfrey. And remember, I am the first financial educator you should have met. I'm the last you'll ever need. Stay safe and have an amazing day.